Suzy Lu, copyright abuser, false flagger, and extreme egomaniac. Me and a bunch of other YouTubers have been criticizing her over the course of a year, and during that entire time, nobody has dared defend Suzy Lu. Not even Mundane Matt, who did a very similar thing to Suzy Lu in false flagging, ended up defending her. But there is one YouTuber, one singular person, who will defend Suzy Lu to the death, and that is her boyfriend, Steejo. He is pretty much the prime example, the exact definition of a simp. I would explain his characteristics myself, but I think John Swan did a much better job of highlighting his character in this video.
In the meantime, Suzy's boyfriend, Steejo, made a video defending Suzy and her actions. And needless to say, some of the points were rather interesting.
Suzy Lu has an ego. Okay, I beg to differ, knowing her better than, pretty much anyone. She routinely entertains hundreds of thousands of people a day. That's ego-worthy, if you ask me. I mean, that's something to be proud of, but I can tell you from my own experience living with a woman that she has one of the smallest egos that I have ever known.
Why would I care to prove my innocence to a bunch of nobodies on the internet?
She still thinks that she's a tiny YouTuber, just entertaining a couple of friends.
Ah yes, Suzy Lu, one of the smallest egos ever to exist. The same person who doesn't want to prove her innocence to a bunch of nobodies on the internet, and the person who, in 2017, told McDonald's workers on strike for higher wages to go and get an actual decent job. No ego there, nope, no, not at all.
And I'm not going to get a funny argument about fair use. They say it's a false copyright strike, and I've got something that'll fix every one of your videos. It ain't false. It's only a false copyright strike if it's not from the copyright holder. You cannot issue a false copyright strike. This isn't false because she owns the copyright. Whether or not you think it's fair use is absolutely all to do with it. You have to not own the copyright to issue a false strike. This is idiotic. You people are morons.
This clip is the reason I question the legitimacy of Steejo's credentials. He clearly doesn't understand fair use or copyright law as he defends Suzy taking down Mark After Dark's clip. But then he also completely misrepresents what a false strike is. A false strike is not a legal term. It's just a name used for a takedown that a party might feel to be incorrect or unjustified.
If you enjoyed that, please consider going and watching John Swan's full video. It's very well made. Anyways, a couple days ago, I uploaded a video talking about Suzy Lu's tweet in response to the recent controversy she has gotten herself into. And in that video, I actually cut out a huge segment where her boyfriend argues with a shit ton of people in the replies to her thread, while Suzy Lu just sits back and lets her cuck boyfriend do all the talking for her. There's absolutely no interaction that Suzy gives to Steejo on Twitter in regards to this situation, which I just think is hilarious because she was responding to completely different tweets while Steejo was defending her. It's like she's trying to ignore that he exists.
Look at what I said to this guy who called you ugly.
Whatever, I don't really care.
So what do you get out of this, man? Like commenting and white knighting and all this stuff? Like, what's in it for you?
What do I get out of commenting and white knighting, if you want to dub it that? Well, eventually a girlfriend who will never leave.
Anyways, this all starts off when Steejo replies to Suzy's thread by saying, "The children seem to be out in force." Some fantastic counter-arguments in the replies to this one, and oh boy did he reply to those counter-arguments. He pretty much spent his entire night doing this. The first one is a response to Gallum Art, who says the person who claims to know copyright laws. Says the person who flags and tries to strike down channels for criticizing you. Says the person who even violates the law, watching full episodes and saying very little. Keep this up, bud. Keep this up. You will be sued. Steejo then responds, "Do you have any proof, or are your allegations based on what other people have told you to think?" Tony Gaming responds to Suzy by saying, "Yeah, I want to see some evidence before I believe bullshit like this." Steejo then replies, "Interesting. Have you seen any evidence to the contrary? Anyone coming out and saying that they've received a copyright strike? Anyone coming out and saying they received a copyright claim? Any proof whatsoever beyond conjecture?" Tony responds, "Yeah, Tipster made a couple videos criticizing her for doing this shit, and she flagged 3 of them for hate. Only 2 were not appealed. He can't make videos for 2 weeks now because this bitch can't handle people talking about her." No reply was ever given to this tweet, and Steejo never defends his woman from being called a bitch. Aaron responds to Suzy by saying, This is a big yikes from me. Got yourself featured in a channel with 600k subscribers and a dedicated fan base. Instant career suicide. Steejo then responds, career suicide? You really are caught up in a bubble. Void responds to Suzy's thread by saying, what the hell do you mean? And then followed it up by showing that Tipster got struck by Suzy Lou. Steejo responds to him by saying, maybe you should read the thread before making yourself look silly? To which Virtual Legend responds, maybe you should read up on the law and the bullshit she pulled instead of being a fucking simp. Steejo then replies, I don't think you understand what that word means. Which law would you like me to read up on? What bullshit has she pulled that I don't know about? Virtual Legend replies, oh, I do. And you fit perfectly fine. Also, the copyright one. Trust me, she's opening herself up to a lawsuit that will hurt her badly. Also, fuck you, Suzy Lou. Absolute scum. Steejo then replies, the copyright one? The copyright law? That one copyright law? Yeah, okay, that one. Fucking hell, man. At least Google any of the many copyright laws. Virtual Legend then responds, I don't fucking need to, cause right now I'm looking at the legal definition of it. She violates 2 of them. Her videos aren't by legal definition transformative. Also, how about the false claims against H3H3 that one idiot did? Trust me, this won't end well for you two. Steejo then replies, the legal definition of what? Violating what? What the actual fuck are you talking about? Are you meaning the Matt Haas versus the Ethan Klein and Ela Klein case? Is that the one idiot thing? Virtual Legend then replies, oh good, now you know how that case went. Now here's a tip if you guys value your guys' future. Remove the copyright strikes and move along. Steejo then replied, that case was a great example of the 4 factors of fair use being shown for a reaction video, so I don't get what you are meaning. What copyright strikes are you talking about? There's literally no copyright strikes at all. Virtual Legend then replies, quit playing stupid, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Have a nice week. Going back to the tweet where Steejo asks what bullshit Suzy pulled, Jacob responds to him by linking John Swan's video and saying, literally everything in this video that you are choosing to ignore. Lol. Steejo then replies, anything in it that's not being answered by this thread? Jacob replies, 100%. And dude, what is with her panic tweeting answering here? She's a liar and a manipulator anyways. What evidence has she brought forth? Steejo then replies, what evidence has she brought forth? What evidence is there to the contrary? Why can no one prove that she submitted a strike against them or a claim? The thread, and anyone with a brain, shows that she can't issue community guideline strikes. Lucas responds to him by saying, maybe make a response video to John Swan's video? If you were so adamant. This situation has been developing and unfolding for the past year, and the best you could do was debunk a video about vet bills. Steejo then replies, I don't know what you'd want me to say. All I've seen are baseless accusations. It's normally upon the accuser to show proof, not the defense. Lucas then replies, why did you go after a video that made a claim less serious than the ones that were leveled at Suzy Lou regarding breach of copyright law, abuse of copyright, saying McDonald's workers shouldn't be looking for handouts when they work 10 times harder than she does, and putting content behind a paywall which is barely changed enough to justify as fair use? That is not baseless, Steejo. Steejo then replies, what video did I go after? The McDonald's thing is a free market argument. I covered this extensively at the time. Copyright abuse is a matter for the parties involved, not anyone else. Lucas then replies, no, it is a matter that gets dealt with in court. You should know this. Just because a clip gets used in a video doesn't mean you or Suzy have the right to take it down. YouTube has a poorly managed and easily abused copyright system. Fact. It looks like you unlisted that vid. Steejo then replies, I unlisted it a long time ago because I didn't want that sort of content on my channel. Yeah, matters can be dealt with in court, although most don't make it that far. You realize that the original copyright strike was removed like a year ago? Lucas then replies, right, that was the only one you could debunk. Yet the strikes keep on coming. Tipster's channel has been striked recently on 3 different vids he made regarding Suzy. Do I even need to guess who striked them? I don't think YouTube just automatically reports videos like that. Steejo then replies, what are you talking about? That was the only one I could debunk? Show anywhere that there has been any more strikes. Community guideline strikes are applied by YouTube. It doesn't matter who reports them. YouTube decides if they violate. Lucas then responds, you can't just censor freedom of speech, but sites like YouTube are letting people do that because of harassment, when a lot of the videos have facts in them. Steejo then replies, you realize that freedom of speech applies to the government and not private entities? There is also even limitations on that. Lucas then replies, also, why even bring the government into this? A public figure is bound to get criticism, and you shouldn't be allowed to censor it. Steejo then replies, because you brought in free speech, which is only applicable to the government. I'm sorry, but do you even know what you were talking about anymore? Lucas replies, freedom of speech is to be able to express one's opinion without any constraints. I wasn't referring to the government law about it. However, you have shown yourself to be against any criticism, as you think any videos you don't agree with should be taken down. Steejo then replies, oh, you were just saying that it would be nice to say whatever you like without consequences? Sounds like a slippery slope. Lucas replies by saying, nice one, Steejo. It sounds like you can't handle any opinions about Suzy Lou unless they are positive. She blocked me for not being positive to her. Do you think life is just a big positivity bubble you live in? That is not real life. Steejo then responds, people are free to use the features that a website has in place in any way they like, as long as it's not breaking the terms of service of said website. Going back to when Steejo said this was a slippery slope, Void responds to him by saying, what he is saying is they can say what they want to say about your girl on their channel, but that doesn't mean she can get those videos down for bullying, when all they are doing is listing illegal things that she is doing. Steejo then replies, you are 100% correct. People can say whatever they like, but that doesn't mean there won't be consequences if they break YouTube's community guidelines. And if she's doing so many illegal things, they should probably call the police. Rachel then responds, criticism is different from bullying and harassment, which is what she reports the vids for. Virtual Legend responds to Steejo by saying, police aren't qualified to take care of this, laughing my ass off. Wow, I guess that money for college went to a real good one. Steejo then replies, well, no one has told me what illegalities are so horrific that they require such outrage. Going back to the tweet where Steejo says people should call the police on Suzy, Lucas responds to it by saying, ha 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 ha. You know, with all the money you two have, in a court of law, you would have the advantage. Don't try me with that one about phoning the police. Trouble is, the rules for one don't apply to another. Why do you think Suzy got terminated? Steejo replies by saying, Suzy got terminated due to a bug in YouTube's systems. When you get 3 strikes on your channel, you get 7 days to submit a valid counter notification, or else your channel is deleted. YouTube fucked up and insta-gibbed the channel. This has all been spoken about in the past. Ulysses responds by saying, simp. Now let's go way back to the tweet where Steejo says that anyone with a brain knows that Suzy herself can't file community guideline strike. Jacob responds to him by saying, you clearly haven't watched the video, because he literally proves that she has, mate. She's doing some illegal shit on top of that too. So whatever, keep being Suzy's little keyboard warrior, but she is in the wrong here. Steejo then replies, what does he prove? If it is so easy to prove that she submitted strikes, etc., then screenshot it. Jacob then replies, man, you have 2 eyes. Go take 20 minutes out of your time to go watch it, Steejo. Lollybat responds to him by saying, can I ask what law school you went to? Steejo then responds, I'd rather not dox myself, thanks. Jacob then replies, translation, I didn't go to law school. I'm a brain-dead cuck who will fight for Suzy till the end, even if she's wrong. Steejo then replies, if you were too stupid to realize how easy it would be to find me via knowing the university that I studied at and when I graduated, then you are beyond help. Jacob replies, man, if it's so easy, then you wouldn't have a problem just saying it, right? Steejo, you are super biased with this situation, and I don't blame you. We've all been blinded by the pussy at one point or another, but if you went to law school, you'd know why she's wrong here. Lollybat responds to Steejo saying he would rather not dox himself by saying, okay, can I ask, why did you delete all your tweets? Steejo replies, I've pretty much left Twitter. I think the platform is fucking awful, and I don't want people engaging with me if I wasn't here. Easiest way to do so was to delete the tweet. Lollybat replies, if you really wanted to get rid of Twitter, wouldn't you delete your account and then the app off your phone? Steejo replies, because I need to use it to DM industry contact. Lollybat replies, okay, but if you didn't want people interacting with you, why are you replying to people? You could have deleted your tweets, messaged your contacts a different way to contact you, and then delete everything. Then you could move on. Steejo replies, 1. What has this to do with anything? 2. I didn't want my audience interacting with me when I'm not active on the platform. Nothing to do with replying to people. 3. Are you my fucking mother? I'll do what I want. I don't need to justify me using a platform to you. Laughing my ass off, Lollybat replies, damn, Daniel. Back at it again with the insults. Chill, my dude. Could have just ignored me. You can insult me all you want, but I was just asking questions. This says more about you than about me. I hope you get your head clear and not insult people who are only asking questions. Steejo replies by saying, wait, what? I've never seen anyone use the victim card so badly. You were never insulted once. Lollybat replies, are you talking into a mirror? Steejo then replies, wow. I don't. Actually, I got this. I am rubber, you are glue. Lollybat replies, I know you are, but what am I? This is fun. Seeing you squirm because I am questioning what you are doing in public. Steejo then replies, I don't think this is quite the gotcha moment that you think it is. Lollybat then replies, you may not feel that way, but I do. Meh. Going back to when Steejo calls himself Rubber, Void responds to him by saying, your college teacher would be ashamed. Steejo then replies, I never went to college. Lollybat then responds, then how do you have a degree? Steejo then replies, different countries do things differently. Next you'll ask if I passed the bar exam. Lollybat responds, Hun. There are two different terms for the same thing. Steejo then replies, not in this country they aren't. College is significantly different to university. Lollybat then replies, whatever you say. At this point, you confirmed my theories. I hope you and her are sued. That way, you guys actually learn what copyright actually is. Steejo then responds, if I've confirmed your theories, then I hope to God you aren't in a STEM field. Lollybat then replies, if I was in the STEM field, I wouldn't have wasted my time on you and your girlfriend. I would be doing much better and greater things, making more money than you both combined. That's hilarious you would actually mention that. Steejo then replies, you are 21, plenty of time to go into STEM, especially if it pays that much. Christ. Lollybat then replies by quoting when Steejo said, 3. Are you my fucking mother? I'll do what I want. I don't need to justify me using a platform to you. Laughing my ass off. Are you my fucking father? I'll do what I want. I don't need you to tell me what I should do with my life. Haha. Now that is about it for the discussion that Steejo had with people under Suzy's thread. But people who watched my last video on Suzy Lou may know that a bunch of YouTubers, one of them being The Quartering, took some shots at Suzy. Steejo responded to The Quartering in particular by saying, nah, just sick of news channels spreading bullshit without a spread of evidence. Ricky Berwick then responds to Steejo with this video.
I have proof, motherfucker. And I'm emailing my YouTube people about you guys to have you guys punished for abusing the copyright system. I can't wait until my YouTube people clash with your YouTube people. It's gonna be romantic, let me tell you.
And then he shows that Steejo immediately blocked him. The Quartering responds to Steejo by saying, I understand you two have built a nice little business together skirting copyright, and that's cool. I don't care about that. But if you're going to be flagging people who critique you, now I care. I recommend cashing those checks and sticking to business rather than building enemies. Steejo then replies, it's sad to see you quote retweet instead of replying. Using tactics like that in order to bring your audience in to fight your arguments is kind of sad. If a video gets removed by YouTube for breaking TOS, it doesn't matter who flagged it. Don't break TOS. Harry then responds, when you take into account the fact that Suzy has a lackey at YouTube, aka her YouTube contact, who is in all likelihood abusing his/her power, I would say it very much matters whether or not Suzy flagged them. Steejo then replies, the fact that you think any of these decisions falls upon a single person at a company like YouTube astounds me. Yeah, I don't think that when a video gets reported at YouTube, it gets like sent to a board of like 10 people to vote on if it violates their terms or not. There are way too many videos on YouTube for that. I'm pretty sure employees make their own judgment based on a rule set that they are given. Anyways, Harry actually added to his previous tweet that we read by saying, secondly, you're implying if a video was struck down by YouTube, the decision is automatically correct, and not a mistake on YouTube's end, and not done by a bot, yet you acknowledge that YouTube systems lack functionality, and at times completely broken, showing the tweet that Steejo made, where he says Suzy's channel was terminated by a YouTube error. Steejo then responds by saying, the picture that you've posted explains a completely different situation, where there was an unexpected interaction that occurred within an extreme outlier situation. Absolutely nothing to do with what we are talking about. How you even compare the two is confusing. Harry responds, in this case, the outer context of the response tweet is irrelevant. You were saying YouTube falsely took down Suzy's channel as a result of a glitch, and I'm saying YouTube's flagging system is handled mostly by bots, and open to abuse as many channels have been wrongfully flagged. Steejo then responds, do you have any proof that YouTube takes videos down due to community guideline violations via automated means? Team YouTube, do you use bots to remove videos flagged for TOS or community guideline violations, or are they all manually reviewed by a human? Going back to Harry's previous tweet, he adds onto it by saying, also wanted to ask this. Earlier you claimed certain channels were spreading misinformation about the situation, but you failed to list any specific examples. Out of the ones I've seen, all the information given seemed accurate, and you haven't debunked any of their claims. Steejo then responds, debunked their claims? Like that Suzy has repeatedly used the copyright system to strike down videos criticizing her? How would you like me to debunk that? No one has shown any evidence of this happening, yet they are all spouting it as fact. Brian responds, showing the evidence that has been shown in many YouTube videos regarding the situation on Suzy Lu. Harry responds to Steejo by saying, therefore, she'd be abusing the flagging system with the new anti-bullying rules, not the copyright system. Granted, there isn't any direct proof she struck the videos. However, on the After Hours podcast a few months back, she refused to show her full flag history. Now that's about it for that conversation. But Steejo didn't just spurg out on Twitter. He actually wrote a novel in the comment section to the Quartering's video on Suzy Lu. And this ended up giving the Quartering enough material to make a video himself responding to that giant comment. I've already read enough Steejo whining in this video, so if you want to see that YouTube comment, the link to the Quartering's video covering it will be in the description below, but it's just similar stuff to what was already said on his Twitter. Anyways, the Quartering posts that this video was released on his Twitter, and Steejo responds to him by saying, ah, okay. So instead of replying to me or refuting any of my points, you screenshot it and don't even tag me. Sad days, man. King of Heroes responds to the Quartering by saying, Steejo, big mistake, my dude. You could have just kept out of the comments, but instead you are making it worse for both you and Suzy Lu. Don't mess with people bigger and more larger than you. You are on the Quartering's radar. Steejo then responds, I'm sorry if I don't get intimidated by a lad behind a screen. I think that he's being used as a bit of a useful fool at this point, which is sad. His video was making his opinions based off false information to spread the rhetoric of others. Thought he was smarter than that. And that is about it for everything Steejo said on Twitter. Holy shit. The amount of mental gymnastics he'd have to make to actually think Suzy Lu is in the right is insane. I think the moral of this video is that pussy is a very strong drug. Luckily for us, her massive forehead nullifies that pussy power for us, so unless you're into that, most people won't become simps for Suzy Lu. But who you should simp for is me, by pressing that subscribe button and leaving a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Also follow me on Twitter and Twitch if you want to catch up with me, because I frequently use those platforms. Also, I'd like to thank my channel members for supporting this channel, in particular Josh Pescator and Continued Bear for donating $30 a month. They have pretty cool channels if you'd like to check them out. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.